Uh, Pranam Guruji, Pranam Makarand, and a soulful namaste to all of you. We welcome each one of you today for this 47th episode of Darpan Foundation's signature series, Upanishad with Guruji Shri Nandkishore. The 47th episode is an International Yoga Day special edition between Guruji Shri Nandkishore, propounder Sahaj Smriti Yog system of self-realization, and our host, Dr. Makarand Paranjape, an acclaimed author, poet, and public intellectual. With over 50 books and 1,000 plus published articles, Dr. Paranjape brings in a rare blend of scholarship and soul. Guruji Shri Nandkishore is a humanitarian leader, poet, writer, visionary, and above all, a spiritual master. Very early in life, Guruji understood that our personal well-being coincides with the well-being of everyone around us. This interdependence between personal transformation and social transformation led him to establish the non-profit organization's Universal Forum for Human Dignity, UNIFORD in short, in 2002, and Darpan Foundation in 2018. Guruji made spiritual awakening as a core value in his mission to transform humanity and has taken up numerous social initiatives through Transform Volunteers. Guruji propounded the Sahaj Smriti Yog system of self-realization along with the Sahaj Smriti Kriya, an absolutely effortless method to explore unexplored dimensions of one's existence. This is a path easy to follow along with the busy family life. He also established Darpan Ashram at Urigam village in 2018. Guruji has spoken as chief guest in numerous fora in the presence of august audience and dignitaries across professions. Guruji served as philosopher, member of ethics committee, NIMHANS between 2018 and 2021. He was awarded the Acharya Chanakya Award for his spiritual contributions to mankind. He has delivered more than 650 spiritual discourses and continues to conduct group meditation and discourse every Sunday. His spiritual columns appear every now and then in leading dailies such as the Times of India, the New Indian Express, the Economic Times, Deccan Herald, Dakshin Bharat Rashtramat, and Organizer. Under Guruji's guidance, Darpan Foundation is consistently working in areas of sustainable living, education, conservation of nature, health, sanitation, and enabling senior citizens to meaningfully contribute to society. Aligning with these goals, we have taken up various projects like facilitating underprivileged government schools, river cleaning, tree planting, natural farming, conducting free health camps, skill development, annadana, etc. Through the various social transformation projects, we have touched more than 7,500 students, 40 plus government schools, and 45 plus villages. Our esteemed host for today is Dr. Makarand Paranjape, an acclaimed author, poet, public intellectual, who, as I said, brings a rare blend of scholarship and soul. Dr. Makarand has served as professor of English at Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, for nearly 25 years and was formerly director of the Indian Institute of Advanced Study at Shimla. He has held prestigious fellowships and visiting professorships, including the inaugural India Chair at the National University of Singapore, the Oxford Center for Hindu Studies, and the inaugural visiting chair in world literature at a German university. A distinguished novelist, critic, and commentator, he has authored or edited over 50 books and published over 200 academic papers and over 1,000 articles in newspapers and popular periodicals. Makarandji is currently a columnist in Open Magazine, Gulf News, the New Indian Express, and First Post. He's currently Director of Education, AHCP at Florida. His latest books include the 150th anniversary edition of the Penguin Sri Aurobindo Reader, Swami Vivekananda, Hinduism and India's Road to Modernity, and New Perspectives in Indian Science and Civilization. You can see some pictures on your screen of Makarandji's visit to Darpan Ashram earlier this year. In our Upanishadic traditions, seekers ask their questions to a realized master. To benefit all of us, today we have our host Dr. Makarandji ask questions to Guruji on our behalf. We cordially welcome Dr. Makarandji again. Talking about Darpan Foundation's Upanishad series, it's a universal initiative to revive the Upanishadic spirit, where there's a confluence of scientifically seeking minds and spiritually seeking hearts, where both of these merge in complete harmony. The word Upanishad is made up of two words, Upa and Nishad, meaning sitting beside. Traditionally, seekers looking for knowledge would sit beside Guru and ask their questions. And that is the very essence of Darpan Upanishad series. Maximum seekers, maximum seeking is our motto. The Upanishad conversations bring in remembrance of our glorious tradition and keep alive the spirit of seeking. Before I hand over to Guruji, I would request the audience to remain silent so that we can listen to the Upanishad without interruption. If you'd like to engage in more of these dialogues, we invite you to follow us on social media. You'll find our social media handles shared on the screen, and the audience will get a chance to ask any questions related to the topic during the last 10 minutes. Over to you, Guruji.
Thank you, Mrinal. Yogo yogen gyatavyo yogo yogat pravardhate yo apramattastu yogena sahayogiram te chiram. Today is 11th International Yoga Day. And we welcome whole earth for good health, as this day is dedicated to whole earth with good health. It was at the initiative of India, Bharat, that around 176 countries within very limited time accepted this proposal of yoga when it was proposed around a decade back. Why so fast people accepted it? Because people knew it is good for whole humanity. And as the slok which I just read out, it is from Saubhagyalakshmi Upanishad, which says that yoga is standing on its own feet. Nowhere any religion is mentioned in it. Nowhere anything else is mentioned in it. Only through yoga you can know yoga, and only through your yoga you can go up and up in yoga. And if the yogi who is nestled in yoga without any doubt and inertia, apramatta, that always stays into eternity. Ramate chiram means forever he is nestled in yoga. In today's turmoil world, when humanity is witnessing the scenes of war across nations, strife within families, and depression across all ages, from children to old age people, all are suffering. In such a scene, yoga comes as fresh breath. Yoga comes as giving meaning to life in all respects. And it asks for nothing. It asks only yourself to be involved with it, get engaged with yoga, develop your interest into yoga. And it is the only practical science which is experiential. With such benefits, offering a hope to the world, we have Shad Darshanas. Among that, yoga comes perhaps as the most relevant one, because it doesn't ask for such theories which you need to go through rigor. You just begin with simple practice and you begin to experience its benefits. So this is the day when whole world rededicates itself again and again every year for the yoga. and they are experiencing the benefits of the yoga. Now, if we read newspapers, we saw the news all across the globe. People are engaged with yoga. But what is real yoga? What all it entails? Its expense is endless. Because our own vision is like that. Like consciousness is endless, same way yoga is also endless. But what is the connection between the two? That needs to be explored. With these words, I welcome Professor Paranjape, and I am very happy that we are sitting across two time zones. To note that. So that speaks of the relativity. Here it is towards evening in India, there in Florida it is towards morning. So this is how the world is. Should we call this, when we are conversing, should we call this evening or morning? Such is the truth. Which part we are looking from, which part? That depends. That is why. So if he says it is evening, then I say, yes, it is evening here. But if he says morning, then from here, yes, you are experiencing morning there. But when we both meet, then I know morning and evening both are Sandhya Kala. So this is how the consciousness is, meeting and meeting and meeting. And that is what is lacking in today's world. Dialogue is lacking. There will be no war if dialogue is there. If dialogue is there, then engagement will be in the right direction. So I welcome Professor Paranjape to ask question on behalf of the public, because he is well versed. His queries are almost over. He has been a seeker and he is an eternal seeker. But it is our role to voice people's questions, and that is how we keep the conversation on. With these words, I hand over this Upanishad to Professor Makarand Paranjape. Let us go with his Makarand across the globe.
Pranam, Guruji, thank you so much. You have, in a very brief and succinct manner, explained what yoga is, which is joining. The dhatu is yuj, and we are joining across the oceans in two different time zones. But as you said, it is a time of sandhi, which also means the time of joining. Now, my first question, Guruji, is that all over the world, when we celebrate this special day, International Yoga Day, you see people doing asanas, the physical aspects of yoga, often in large numbers. But yoga is certainly more than the physical asanas, because even in Patanjali, in Raja Yoga, you have 8 steps, and you have yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, and pratyahar. It goes on, dharan, dhyan, samadhi. I might have missed the order, but it's those 8 steps.
Nice,
So, can you please explain the deeper significance? Because, especially in the West, everyone thinks that yoga is only exercise. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because it'll benefit, as you said. Even a little practice will benefit. And I'm happy to say almost 10% of the United States is exposed to yoga. There are very serious practitioners here. So 10% is 30 million, and it is possibly the single most effective, you might even say, instance of India's soft power. There's so much goodwill around yoga and so many other things, mantras, chanting, vegetarianism, all of this is accruing around yoga, which is respected and popular. There are some critics, of course, they think you rightly clarified through Saubhagya Upanishad that it's for everybody, but there are some factions of this society which consider it to be, not allowed in their own traditions. We won't go into that. So, my first question, Guruji, is can you explain the deeper significance of yoga beyond the physical asanas?
So whenever we are wanting to reach to certain dialogue and in the same sense, then this is the beauty of Sanskrit, that it breaks the meaning syllable by syllable so that no confusion is left. So when we say yoga, if we divide even these two syllables, it becomes yoga. The yo means the one who went, the one who is going. Yuj is when two are united, then it is yog, which everybody knows. But they can be broken into single syllable as well. Yo and ga. So yaha gamati, jo chal raha hai, the one who is, and that is the definition of Brahma also. So long as we are vibrating as life in human frame, we cannot stay without functioning. Even if we want to be still our body will be functioning. It's all internal workings will be going on. We will be breathing. All the processes of digestion and everything will be going on. That is how we are alive. So gamanam means movement is inevitable. When we stop moving, that means we are declared lifeless. So yoga is in that sense, yo means that, the one who moves. So it is synonym with life. It is another word for life itself. And that is the same definition of Brahma. In Adhyatmic world, we say Brahma is known by its movement only. Something which is moving, that is Brahma.
Or expanding.
Tato sarvagatam brahmam nitya yagya pratisthita. That it is going everywhere. The one who, the consciousness, when it becomes such that it becomes all pervasive. Tato sarvagatam brahmam nitya yagya pratisthita. So this is where the yoga generates. This is how the yoga can be defined, that when our consciousness is united in such a way that we become all pervasive consciousness. Not all powerful. All powerful comes later. All pervasiveness is the first quality of consciousness. Then comes all powerfulness. That is why we say Shiva the first and Shakti the second. Without Shakti, nothing moves. So it is synonymous with Shakti, Brahma, the yoga. So this union, to what extent we can take it, that depends on our practice. So how to practice it? They say, first you have to purify your senses, purify your mind, purify your intellect. Then you become pure vehicle. As all the 8 limbs you said very well, yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So these are the tools until we reach to the pratyahar. Pratyahar means now we begin to take the food from the other side. That means now purity begins to dawn upon in our consciousness. So that union which have this between this and that. So in absolute terms, it begins from there and then down onwards, everywhere, wherever we are finding this, you see, sandhi, that how things are united. How things are united without any struggle, without any violence. Of course, minimal violence is there. That is why we are different from absolutist. Absolutism leads to, see, strife and conflict. But little bit of violence is in the nature of life. when we are chewing food, little bit of violence is there, but that is lovely violence. That is not so we are not extremists. So yoga is always looking for sandhi, where with love you can find the commonality. So we say sangachadvam, that we let us move together, because we have figured out that this is our priority. So yoga, in that sense, is another way of looking at life. But how we experience it? By purifying our senses. That is how, in the current time, we should look at yoga. Because most of the things, when we are seeing, even food is, you see, there is so much coming into the food. There is so much more, things are coming. Means everywhere we are seeing some or the other kind of mix is coming. Something they are mixing, which is not good for life. Why I am using the word mix? Because they come by, introduce it by positive terminology. They never say it is adulterated. They say it is good. It is good mix for you. It is not. So we have to, when we purify ourselves, then we know what is adulteration and what is good food. So yoga must be seen as a synonym for life.
Thank you, Guruji. You've given us a very beautiful elaboration of the deeper meaning of yoga, because normally people think, oh, yoga means joining. What do you join? You join your individual soul with the divine, and so on. But you've actually said that yoga is synonymous with life, the expansive force of life, the Brihat of Brahman, which is also what Vishnu means, a constant expansion. So, if I were to summarize, what you're saying is that when this joining takes place in a very beautiful, voluntary, sahaj, as you said, easy way, then when the two become one, what happens is endless expansion. And endless expansion leads to bliss. And as you rightly said, how to go there? It is through purification. And you've also said that there are two kinds of mixings. There's a positive joining in the manner in which we are joining today, but there's also that negative mixture, the mixture of impurity, which is polluting our minds, our senses, and in fact causing so much mental distress. And as we purify ourselves, we are able to discriminate between the positive mixing, the sangachvatvam, as you said, and all this milavat, adulteration as well. Now, Guruji, may I ask, what is the deeper significance of this day itself, which is the solstice, when we are closer to the sun, the days are expanding, and we talked about Sandhi. So today is a special day, isn't it, for all of us who are seekers? Can you explain the planetary significance, the astronomical significance of the day itself?
So this, as you well said, that this is the day when all is coming together for in a balanced manner. So everywhere in Sandhi, we are looking for some kind of balance. Even even in warring between warring nations, when we are there, they say Sandhi. That means now they are coming for compromise. So even there also, both the parties try to keep their interests at meeting at a point where other party accepts it. So same way we can say what is true for individual, that is true for universe also, and other way around. So when both are meeting, all the seasons, in every season, in fact in every day, in every moment there is a Sandhya Kal. Because when we say unity, yoga means unity, that so long as anyway we are going, even scientifically when we are exploring through physics and astronomy and astrology, what are we discovering? We are discovering that whole is unknown to us. First we accept our ignorance through knowledge. that there is something which we don't even know that we don't know. So something is there, but there is a way to reach to that. So in yoga, when we say what is the significance, significance is always, is there a way, known and practiced, tested way to reach that unknown? Otherwise, it will be so stupid to say in one sentence that ultimate thing is ignorance or unknown. Then why do go whole hog? Why not accept in the beginning itself that okay, ignorance is the truth? Then why to go for the knowledge? No, there is a way. Through knowledge only we have to go, and then we reach to that stage, which is called real union. That how this knowledge leads us to humility. That ignorance is not the ignorance of the ignorant. That ignorance is in the humility which is attained because by knowing we come to know that we really don't exist. So all this solstice and everything, this comes to a knot, but there is a way. We have a proportion in our body, as all we know that there is how much we have maximum amount of water. So if we are practicing something, we are doing our asana and everything around water bodies, we definitely feel little balance. Likewise, when this time comes this for doing yoga, that time also we are feeling something rising in us when we are sitting for meditation or doing practice, our practice, then automatically that union happens. So we overcome all these things and reach to that space where we feel lighter. So this is how I would say that through yoga we reach there. And through this knowledge only, we can come to certain space where all what is available to us, that begins to make us humble. And then we reach beyond all this quagmire.
So are you saying, Guruji, that actually we are already united, but we don't realize it? So in a way, yoga is only to restore us to our original state, which is the state of being not divided. So, as they say, there is yoga, then what about viyoga? Because without separation, you cannot enjoy the joining again. As they say, sambhoga is not possible without the vipralamba, the separation. So it's some sort of a game that the divine is playing with itself. But I think you mentioned just now the importance of balance, of rebalancing, as it were, because things are out of balance. And it reminds me of the definition of yoga. There are many definitions, as we know, in the Gita, where the Lord says that samatvam yoga uchate. He also says yoga karmasu kaushalam, the skill in action. And of course, Patanjali starts by saying yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So can you shed light on these, at least these three or four paradigms of yoga, and the opposite of yoga, which is viyoga, or would you say the opposite of yoga is bhoga?
Very rightly put. So in real terms, there is no viyoga. How it is not that we are always united. There is only one. That is how the Upanishadic experience comes, which we can experience today, because that is timeless experience. Once we purify our senses, that is the beauty of Upanishadic you see sayings, because they are timeless. Why they are? Because even today if somebody does the same way, we can experience, we can come to the same conclusions. So when it says that ekoham bahushyami, I am alone who have become many, that means viyoga is impossible. But why and how we are not feeling that? Because we have not purified our intelligence, our senses. So we are not reaching to that site of being witness, where many can experience the one. So that manyness, so to say, is dissolved. That diversity is one thing, but this sense, the witness, you can also be witness, I can also be witness of the same thing. If we have purified, then we will not feel there too. So in real terms, there is no yoga. When you say, yes, the reverse of the yoga is bhoga, then it makes sense. Because if we have not purified our senses, then we fall down to bhoga. Bhoga is not a negative term in that sense. If it is need based, if it is for the welfare of dharma, that means dharma again needs definition. Dharma means what needs to be done through the purified intelligence, through the purified senses in the course of universal welfare. So that becomes dharma, and that becomes karma and everything, and whatever is in that course of action, whatever is being experienced through us, you call it bhogam, you call it yogam, it doesn't make a difference. But if you keep coming down only for the sake of consumption, then it becomes opposite of the yoga. So it is only in falling down that we call bhoga. So in real sense, there is no viyoga. There is yoga if when we are going up and up in yoga, and that is how the queries of the seekers come generally. That they say, what if I could not follow the way it should be followed? Then say, no, even if you do a little, you will be benefited by that. So if you do much more, then of course we need not say that you are going up and up only, and that you will become evidence for that. And all these, there's a yoga chitta vritti nirodha, as you said. Yes, Patanjali said this. So beginning is this, that we have to purify you. Chitta vritti means what? That means all four components which we have, that is intelligence, ego, memory, mind. So these all four components put together, they are called our chitta. So purifying them means they become as if they are not there, merely as tools. So they will be there, but they will not have their individuality. So they will not quarrel with one another. Then they become united. So you begin from when such has become the case, then your character will begin to shine. And then, as we say in Sahaj Smriti Yog, that the light of the soul falls on self, and light of the self falls on your chitta, that is mind, and then the light of the mind falls on your body. So all are lit in that order. Self is a critical part in this, which can be a big topic. That SBK for freedom, swatantrata, swadhinta, such words come in our culture. So yogas chitta vritti nirodha means that all these negative tendencies which are due to bhogam, because one is not in yoga. So if we purify that, then we are into yoga. So that is Raj Yoga mostly. So that is the way we are going. And when we say yoga karmashu kaushalam, that means whatever we are doing, if we are doing it with 100% immersion, 100% attention to it, that means that whatever work we are doing with dexterity, whatever we have undertaken, if we are honestly doing that, that is also yoga. So that will also lead towards the same. So through our work also we can attain to yoga. That is another way. And then we say samatvam yoga ujjate. That means when gradually we are doing our work and we reach to that state of realization, when every one we see the same divinity, same grain, same eternal existence, then we begin to look at everything as even. That evenness operates in us, that what is not good for me cannot be good for others. So if we want to be forgiven, then we should forgive others. If we want to be loved, we should extend love to others. If we make 1,000 mistakes and others are ready to forgive us, then we should, somebody else makes one mistake and we go whole hog and say, and that is the unfortunate part. They say in the Ramcharitmanas, about speaking about Ram, it has come कि गुण सागर नागर नर जेऊ अल्प दोष भल कहे न क्यों. Even if you are whole person, only one thing is lacking in you, everybody will point finger towards that one thing, which should not be done. So these things are told this way. Examples are given to us that what should we do and what should we not do. So in every stage, at the level of mind or consciousness, samattam yoga uchyate, at the level of functioning, acting, yoga karmashu kauslam, and at the level of sadhana, it is yoga chittavritti nirodha. So they are all leading to the same from different positions of our journey. These quotations have come. These principles have been stated, which they are take, telling about the one and the same thing only. Only our stage is different. That is how it should be seen.
Thank you, Guruji, for that explanation. While you were explaining how all of these aspects are interrelated, it was very clear to me that in many ways this corresponds to the traditional framework of Gyan, Bhakti, and Karma Yoga, because when you purify the mind, then the illumination of knowledge happens. When you purify your emotions, then Bhakti develops compassion, love, as you said. And if you act in a very pure way without selfish motives, then it is already Karma Yoga. So, how all the yogas are leading to the same path, and of course, Raja Yoga, which you mentioned. I also wanted to ask you whether Sahaj Smriti Yoga is a new version of these time-tested methods for our own contemporary reality, because I feel it has purification, yam and niyam, and you say, in fact, you've given us a clear and simple path of purification, which is consistency in thought, word, and deed. That means you have to lead a very ethical life. You can't be double dealing and cheating. So then asanas, you say we have to do some physical activity, some labor every day. So asana is also there. Dhyan is also there. Meditate for about 1 hour, 48 minutes, you've said, to 1 hour. So would you say that all the elements of the traditional yogas are already or are present in Sahaj Smriti Yoga?
I'm happy that you asked this question, Professor Sir, because what is the role? See, everyone who realizes the truth, first thing realizes that something which is eternal, that alone can be the truth. Then there are smaller truths, which we all are during our journey. When that is realized, then second thing we realize that it is always changing. First thing is something is changeless. Second thing is that it is always changing. So now every time when other parameters are changing, our ways of life are changing, technology is changing, we are not carrying our work the same way which we used to carry 1,000 years back. There is so much change in our day-to-day behavior. So now how to bring people of current times to understand this, that yoga remains same, consciousness remains same, your experiencing bliss remains same, your transcendence remains same, certain experiences of life, they are same, other things are changing. So Sahaj Smriti Yog, or anybody who is contemporary, who tries, always his effort is how to put things in smallest way according to the need of the time. Like in Gita, everywhere, at that time he mentions that if in Gita, when he says, Krishna says about Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjun, that means all Vedic knowledge he in some way summed up. Ki overcome this. And then he goes further that flowery language of Vedas, you come out of that, everything. Then because that time the commentary was needed. So he gave a commentary. Now comes Sankaracharya. So many, I'm just naming few. He again had to do Tika on all the Prasthantrayi he had to do on Gita and Upanishads and then Brahma Sutra. Just to make people understand that in today's, that is means during his time, how to understand the same thing. So in every time, then comes an Arvindo, then anybody you can name. They just gives that in current time how to understand the same eternal principle, how to experience the same. So this is a role. This is what makes Sanatan Parampara from any other Parampara. Here only living Parampara works. Here we give whole authority to the Guru, in whom we have seen that this person has realized something which is worth realizing. So in living Guru Parampara, the principle is that as a contemporary piece of life in the form of human being, what is the way now available that in quickest time, because nobody has time today to go through all literature. Very few people, those who are academicians or those whose work is only to do this, they perhaps can read whole, but how can others? So they needs a simple thing in which nothing is left also. That by following a simple method, they can reach to that. So that is the role of every living guru, living in their time, that how to devise such a system, such a path that it leads to the same realization. So there is nothing different in Sahaj Smriti Yog. It is the same eternal principle. Only difference is that how to do it in today's time, how to experience the same unity, same bliss, same peace. So that's why we mention the word peace. Because deeper you go, then you begin to understand that how one synonym is different from another. Bliss is synonym of peace. Yes, Shantam na vidu kashmai, as we say. Devaya tasmai nama. So it is not about yes antam. It is yes shantam also. Because deeper you go in the meaning of Sanskrit syllables, they have multiple like string meanings. One single syllable, depending on our state of consciousness, reveals the different meaning and its experience. So we say one word peace is such which sounds secular to people. Nobody can say, even if they are followers of different religions, that peace we don't like. Peace is also related to some sect or religion. That will be unfortunate. So we are trying to come in Sahaj Smriti Yog to such a vocabulary that nobody is capable of pointing finger in negative way. If somebody is adamant of doing something, that is another case. But as far as they are seeking the truth, then this vocabulary also will sound them so much clear that it has no taint of anything. But can we say anything other than our being eternal? Can we say this is all questions boils down to one question, which is eternal question for humanity. Whether I am or I am not. And only when we realize that I am not, then we realize I am. So the one who realizes I am cannot say I am. So Sahaj Smriti Yog in 333 words have summed up the whole literature so that everybody could read and follow. In that, everything is given. What to do, and by doing all that, how you are going to realize this. So then you become, by practicing it, you become the evidence. There it is written that by following this, by practicing this, peace will begin to follow you. Now we are following, trying to reach to the peace. But if we realize that, we practice that the way, and it goes with very simple thing, that you just begin with word, mind, and deed. There will be struggle for some time, there will be struggle, definitely. And then you come to the clarity. That in simple, so that if you don't have this, you see, thing in you that, oh, I have not read those books, so how will I ever reach there? So all this has been clarified. That fine, it is good if you have time, you read, because reading good literature, being in good company, it is anyway going to enhance you. But if you do not have time, then it is not a hurdle to realize. So Sahaj Smriti Yog is the path which can be practiced across the genders, across the globe, whatever identity you have. If you are a human being, it is for you. So
Thank you,
this
Guruji.
is,
I think we are a little short of time, but
yeah.
I wanted to ask you at least one really important question. And you've already hinted about that topic when you've told us, in a way, the key that only he or she who knows they are none can be the one. And and when you have that, then peace follows you. You don't seek it. But Guruji, can you elaborate on the role of the guru? Because I think one of the unique things of Sahaj Smriti Yog is to revive the Guru Shishya Parampara in its pristine form, in its non-authoritarian, a non-business form, I call it, because now Guru is also a business, you know. It has the same corporatization. And, sometimes you feel that the world that you're trying to escape has followed you and held you by the throat on this side of the river as well, on the other side. So I think that one of the key things in your message and in your life is to purify and revive the pristine Guru Shishya Parampara, which is the hallmark of Sanatana Dharma. So can you tell us why it is essential? I mean, even for yogasanas, you take a guru, but to change your life, you don't want to take a guru. So this fear of the guru, resistance to the idea of the guru, and the reviving of this idea as the, I would say, foundation or the backbone of Sanatana Dharma. Can you please elaborate on that?
So there are 2, 3 things in a nutshell which we can take. That we are human beings, and spiritually, only hurdle which is the strongmost in our realization is our ego. And this ego cannot be demolished on our own until and unless we bow down before someone made of flesh and blood like ourselves. So, this is a practical thing which I have myself experienced, that this, without this it doesn't work. So, but having said that, if somebody claims that he is a guru, then he definitely is not. It is we who see in somebody guru. जिसको मैंने, because this was supposed to be bilingual, so थोड़ा मैं हिंदी में भी बोलूंगा
जी जी
कि कोई व्यक्ति गुरु नहीं होता, पर बिना किसी व्यक्ति को गुरु बनाए काम पूरा नहीं होता. तो ये जो इन दो चीजों के बीच में है कि कोई व्यक्ति तो गुरु होता नहीं, देयर इज नो पर्सन हु इज गुरु, बट किसी व्यक्ति को गुरु बनाए बगैर हमारा अज्ञान दूर नहीं होता। तो इन दो के बीच में तो हु कैन बी द अथॉरिटी? जिसको हमें लगता है कि ये गुरु है, तब हम झुकेंगे जाके। तो इससे क्या होता है कि हमारा अहंकार दूर होता है। और गुरु में अगर कोई चीज कहें कि क्या नहीं होता है, तो उसमें केवल अहंकार नहीं मिलेगा। अहंकार मिल रहा है तो वो गुरु नहीं है। वो कितना भी पढ़ा लिखा ज्ञानी, जो भी आप कह रहे हो, वेद शास्त्र जानने वाला, पुस्तकें जानने वाला, उससे कुछ नहीं होता है अगर उसमें अहंकार की जरा सी भी झलक है। तो अगर कोई कह रहा है मैं गुरु हूं, तो फिर अहंकार तो साफ ही दिख रहा है। कौन ये कह सकता है जैसे ये कुछ परमात्मा जैसा है? कि कौन ये बोल सकता है कि परमात्मा है या नहीं? केवल वही तो बोल सकता है जिसको हम कहें कि मेरी दृष्टि में ये परमात्मा है। तो उसको ही अधिकार हम देते हैं कि वो बोले। अदरवाइज किसी को कहाँ अधिकार है? कौन बोल सकता है? क्योंकि परमात्मा का तो अर्थ है कि फिर कोई समस्या ही नहीं है जीवन में। तो ऐसा अगर है, तो ये जो चीज है, तो वो हमने कहा कि ये कोई जो निराकार है वो तो कहीं दिख नहीं रहा है। हम साकार हैं, हमारी लिमिटेशंस है। तो हम ये जानते आए हैं सनातन परंपरा में कि यहाँ पे गुरु परंपरा के कारण ही ये जीवित है ज्ञान। तो हमने इसको कहा है, साधु संतों के बीच में भी कहा, हरिद्वार में संत संसद हुई, सब जगह इस बात को रखा, उन लोगों ने माना। वो ये है कि गुरु गुरु शिष्य परंपरा पर ही सनातन धर्म आश्रित है। उसके बाद ही सनातन धर्म पर गुरु परंपरा आश्रित है। जो जो प्राथमिकता का जो अंतर है वो मूल अंतर है। क्योंकि हम मनुष्य हैं तो हमें जो भरोसा चाहिए। आज आप संसार में देखो, किस देश में क्या कमी है? जो युद्ध मचा हुआ है, ईरान इजराइल, कहीं भी देख लो आप, यूक्रेन रशिया, और कहाँ हमारे अपने पास में भी, कहाँ नहीं हो रहा है? तो ये किसी कमी के कारण हो रहा है क्या? विश्वसनीयता नहीं, क्रेडिबिलिटी नहीं रह रही है पर्सनालिटी की। तो आज पूरे विश्व में ऐसे चरित्र चाहिए कि जिन पे लोग भरोसा कर सकें। तो वो भरोसा गुरु शिष्य परंपरा से आता है। क्योंकि कोई व्यक्ति जब शिक्षा आरंभ करता है तो वो गुरु पे भरोसा करता है। जिसको भरोसा करता है उसको गुरु कहता है। तो वो मानवता में वो प्रेम, वो भरोसा, वो विश्वास मानवता में उत्पन्न होता है। ना तो कुछ अकेले इंटेलेक्ट से हो जाता है, ना किसी चीज से हो जाता है। अगर भरोसा ही नहीं है, प्रेम ही नहीं है, तो कैसे काम चलेगा? इसलिए गुरु का होना बहुत आवश्यक ही नहीं, इसेंशियल है। मानवता को अगर बचे रहना है, मानवता का मानवता में भरोसा रखना है, तो ये प्रेम हुआ, धर्म हुआ, सत्य हुआ, अहिंसा हुआ, सनातन सौंदर्य हुआ, ये सब देखने और अनुभव करने के लिए गुरु का होना आवश्यक है। ये सब कोई अपने अनुभव से देख सकता है। क्योंकि बिना सब कुछ मिलेगा, लेकिन जो मूल खराबी बनी रहती है वो है हमारा अहंकार। वो नहीं जाता बिना गुरु के। इसलिए गुरु हमारी आवश्यकता है। गुरु किसी व्यक्ति की आवश्यक, जिसको हम गुरु कहते हैं, उसकी आवश्यकता नहीं है। अगर उसकी आवश्यकता है तो वो फिर उस उत्तराधिकार को वहन करने योग्य नहीं है। वो उत्तरदायित्व तो निभा भी नहीं पाएंगे। तो ये
जी
हमारे लिए आवश्यक है, ये हमारे जीवन का निचोड़ है। तो अभी
जी गुरु जी, अब प्रश्नोत्तर का समय शुरू हो रहा है,
हाँ।
लेकिन मुझे एक आखिरी, आपसे आखिरी तो नहीं कहेंगे उपनिषद में, लेकिन एक छोटा सा, बहुत छोटा सा प्रश्न है। क्योंकि आप साहित्यकार खुद है और साहित्य प्रेमी है, और हम और आप दोनों कबीर के बहुत क्या कहेंगे, भक्ति कहना चाहिए। तो वो कहते हैं, अवधूता युगन युगन हम योगी।
हम्म।
तो ये अवधूत और योगी में क्या फर्क है गुरुजी? और इसके बाद मैं अपनी वाणी को पूर्ण विराम दूंगा।
तो अवधूत एक अवस्था होती है। अवध मीन्स जिसका कोई वध नहीं हो सकता। अवध, जो वध नहीं हो रहा है, तो वध किसका नहीं होता? जो आत्म तत्व को जान गया है, वो ही इज ड्रंक ऑन दैट। तो अध्यात्म में एक अवस्था होती है आनंद की, उसको अवधूत कहा गया। अवधूत जो बधा बधा नहीं जा सकता। दूसरा उसका कहते हैं कि वधु, वधु मतलब जो ब्याहता हो गई। तो जो उस अवस्था में पहुंच गया, कि जो परमात्म तत्व का साक्षात कर चुका है, तो वो उसके पहले की एक अवस्था होती है। तो योग होने के बाद ना तो कोई बंधा जा सकता है, आत्मा अवध है, अवद्धो अयम कहते ही हैं। तो उसी चीज का उन्होंने अवधूत शब्द का इस्तेमाल वहां पे किया है, क्योंकि उस समय कुछ जो परमात्म तत्व में लीन रहने वाले जो लोग होते थे, वो अपने आप को अवधूत कहते थे। वो एक तरह की आत्मानंद की अवस्था है, लेकिन उससे भी और ऊपर की अवस्थाएं हैं अध्यात्म में। लेकिन ये एक आनंद की अवस्था है, उसको ही अवधू कहा जाता है। जैसे साधो अवधू, ये उस समय की शब्दावली थी जिसको कबीर ने उपयोग में लाया है। ये उसका अर्थ है। जी।
So, with that, we'll be moving into the next segment of the Upanishad, which is the audience Q&A. So, there have been quite a few questions that have been pouring in from YouTube comments. We picked out some of the ones that have stood out the most. I'll get us going with this first question. This one is to Guruji. When one gets some feelings or thoughts, how can we tell if it's genuine spiritual intuition or just something our minds have cooked up?
So something, when you say feeling, so there are three words. When we say कि one is you are intellectually knowing, which way say समझना. Then another way is to experience, and third is to feel. ये हम सहज स्मृति योग में we have defined that. So but we are using the word feel. Feeling means that your whole existence is one with that. That means that is the voice of your soul. Or anything, any doubt if you had, then this can be the voice of mind, voice of your experience, some deep experience. So that is how you differentiate. So every word when you are using, you should use word as a tool. When you use a word, what experience is analogous to that happening within you? Because the same word you may mean something and somebody else who is listening may mean something else. So if your whole existence is feeling something, that is called felt. So that time it is genuine. But if there are voices and doubts, then it is, you need to be watchful of that. Ponder over it. That's why we have given the tools. Sravan Manan Nididhyasana. That if you have heard something or you are feeling something, ponder over it. Meditate from all angles. And if you find it genuine, then move forward. So you have to purify and know whether it is coming the voice of the soul or it is coming from some outside experience. That is how you differentiate.
So, this next question is for Makarand ji. Makarand ji, as a long-time scholar of the English language, how do you navigate the challenges of conveying the depth and nuances of Indic wisdom through English?
There is a notion called the intranslatable. It's also understood in linguistics. So there are certain terms and phrases which are not translatable. And we have to accept that, and we use the original words like dharma, karma, even yoga. There's no need to suppose I said instead of International Yoga Day, suppose I said International Joining Day. It makes no sense. So we retain those terms wherever required. But it's also interesting that since the 19th century or even earlier, uh, we developed in India, partly thanks to the British and others who were deeply involved in Indian culture, thought, and even spirituality and equivalence. It's called Guru English. So now, apart from standard English, there's also Guru English. Thanks to Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, there's a huge equivalent vocabulary where we can express very complex ideas from Indic thought and civilization and spirituality in English. And finally, as Guruji himself says, languages are aspects of human expression. So it's only at the Vaikkhari that they differ. English sounds different. And even there, they are joined because of root words. Indo-European languages are very, very close. Door is dwar, cow is go. And if you really go into it deeply, you can resonate. But after Vaikhari, there are other levels, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Pashyanti, and then Para. At Para, there's no sound. We just communicate through the heart or even beyond. So, therefore, I don't think language is a problem. And it's really unfortunate how we've created out of language this whole political identity politics and fighting. Whereas, if you just, in fact, one of the great spiritual teachers whom I had occasion to meet, he told me one day, he said, Makaran, nobody listens to your words. वो आपकी ध्वनि सुनते हैं. So they don't listen to your words. They just listen to your vibration. And I can please do this experiment. When you listen to Guruji, just listen to his voice and see how you feel. You feel so peaceful. You don't have to actually pay attention to every word he says. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Right. So we'll move on to the next question. This one is to Guruji. Why should we meditate for 48 minutes, as Makaranji mentioned?
So, in the current time, this is 2 घड़ी संस्कृत के जो ज्योतिष के अनुसार 24 मिनट की 1 घड़ी. सो ये 2 घड़ी का टाइम है. 48 मिनट्स तो 1 घंटे तक जा सकते हैं, 1 सवा घंटे तक चलेगा, बट नॉट मोर देन दैट. सो एवरी टाइम देयर इज सम अमाउंट ऑफ यू सी ड्यूरेशन. इस समय जिस तरह के हमारे शरीर हैं, इफ यू गो थ्रू अवर ओल्ड लिटरेचर, उस समय शरीर बड़े हुआ करते थे काफी पहले, और नेचर में बैलेंस दूसरे तरह का था. अभी ये जो जितना एक तरह से हम हमेशा ऐसा होता है कि वन वे इट इज इवोल्यूशन एंड अनदर वे इट इज डिवोल्यूशन. दिस इज हाउ ऑल द टाइम क्रिएशन इज. तो अभी जो बैलेंस अवस्था में आने के लिए 48 minutes to 1.5 hours तक, see 15 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes तक, this is somewhat. तो इतने तक different people, they come into balanced state for the rest of the 23 hours. तो वो एक अलाइनमेंट का इतना समय में हो जाता है अभी के लिए. जो जैसे आइंस्टीन कहते हैं ना कि एक यूनिवर्सल कांस्टेंट होता है, ऐसे ही बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस को ह्यूमन बीइंग की अपने इन्वायरमेंट से स्पिरिचुअली, मटेरियली, फिजिकली, इंटेलेक्चुअली, एवरी वे अलाइन करने के लिए इतना टाइम अभी के लिए पर्याप्त है. इसलिए दिस इज हाउ इट हैज बीन डिवाइस्ड बाय एक्सपीरियंस कि इतने में हो जाता है. कोई भी जो चीज डिवाइस की जाती है, दैट्स व्हाट वी आर सेइंग. लिविंग गुरुज हुम वी कॉल, देयर रोल इज पहले वो अपने पे एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, देन दे सी हाउ व्हाट इज द रियलिटी ऑफ इट, देन दे एक्सपेरिमेंट इट ऑन अदर्स, and then they figure out that this is it, then it is given that now this works. So अभी के लिए करंट टाइम में यही है. फिर कोई और आएगा, फिर कोई और टाइम डिवाइस करेगा. दैट इज हाउ इट कीप्स गोइंग.
Right. I'll move on to the next question. This one is from Makaranji. It says, how do we integrate ancient yogic wisdom with modern science?
Try Sahaj Smriti Yog.
Yes.
All right.
Short and sweet, yeah.
We'll move on to the next one. This one is for Guruji. How should one deal with spiritual dryness or lack of progress?
See, spirituality is never dry. What we call progress, once we are in a guru-disciple relationship, one should ask Guru, then only we will know he is the authority whom we have given the authority, not because he is. He will tell you whether your progress is happening or not. In his eyes, your progress is always there. Pace may differ, but because progress is based on the relationship, not on what we do. Are we true to the relationship? If he is there, then our progress is automatically happening. If we forget the relationship, if we renounce the relationship, that is the only way our progress can stop. Otherwise, it is like when you are sitting in a boat, whether you are, you see, swimming or not, does it make any sense? Or you really need to swim? So that is how it is. Everywhere, in so many ways, in literature, it has been told Guru is like the boat, the boatman, and all. So progress is always there. Only if we renounce the relationship, then only that progress is not there. Otherwise, it is always there, only pace may differ. And it is always when we are there, then spirituality is a raso vaisha. We say that is like juice. How can there be dryness in it? It's impossible. Yeah. Yeah, Professor sir.
Guruji, I just want to add, as I said earlier about yoga, even dryness, even despair, even alienation is a rasa. You can't escape it, you know. You have to, Guruji has said, accept, not expect. When I met him in January this year, he gave me the mantra for what I have to do in 2025. Accept, not expect. But so what I'm trying to say is that, yes, we go through these periods where you feel, you know, I mean, Guruji may not feel it anymore, but we do. I relate to you. And I can only say that hold on, hold on. You have to live through it. There's no shortcut. And see if you can enjoy it because, you know, you use the word dry. In fact, Swami Vivekananda also uses it. But you sprinkle a bit of bhakti on the dryness, it may become a little more bearable.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Um, I'll move on to the next question. This one is for Dr. Makarand. Uh, it says, has modern yoga lost its spiritual core and how can we reclaim it?
I don't think I have to answer this. Guruji has already answered at great length. I mean, I think yoga is eternal. It renews itself. It finds the right vehicles and channels to contemporize it. And it is coterminous with life. So this whole idea of seeking some purity by going back in the past is an illusion. You know, we have to move forward, and that is actually, you know, the thrust of life. It's the imperative, and so I think that if you're a true seeker, you're sure to find a very authentic, contemporary practice. And I hope that listening to Guruji, you have found uh, a way to reconnect with the traditional practice in all its purity. Thank you.
All right. This next question, I would imagine, is a really popular one. This is for Guruji. It says, how can we remain spiritually centered in times of crisis?
First of all, I think it is time running. Anyway, so spirituality is meant for centering. So when you are saying crisis, that means some disconnection has happened. It should be seen other way around. You are saying somebody who is spiritually connected will always rely on that relationship, on remembrance that they are eternal in the world, whatever is going on. There is only way that are we behaving properly? Are we acting according to the wisdom available to us? More than that, nothing can be done. When Rama was, I can give one example, perhaps Fritz can understand with that. When Rama was initiated, it he told to his guru Vasist that now I am in that situation where there is nothing which I should do and there is nothing which I should not do. Now you tell me what should I do? So this is the position all the time of a wise person, that are be equipped according to the situations. So we are here just to behave. So in any situation, if we are centered, then only option we have are we behaving peacefully according to the situation. Peacefully, I am adding the word because internal peace is available only to a spiritual person. If you do not have spiritual depth, then any situation which hits you, your peace will be disturbed. If you are spiritually centered, then whatever is happening in the world, internal peace will be intact. Now, if one has not reached to that state of realization, then through remembrance, it can be connected. That is the relationship between a guru and disciple. So, this is how one can stay anchored. Behave according to the situation. Remember your relationship. Remember who you are, how you are, and then move on.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap up the Q&A session here. With that, I'd like to say thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Makarand ji, for this wonderful and enriching Upanishad. Thank you to the audience. Those were some interesting questions. We hope we were able to address them. For all those of you who would like to ask more questions and for the questions we couldn't take up, we do get in touch with us. We can schedule an appointment with Guruji. You can also join our weekly satsangs every day at 6:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time. In case some of you would like Guruji to address your questions through email, then please send them to our email ID, info@darpanfoundation.com. That's info@darpanfoundation.com. For details, please visit our website, www.darpanfoundation.com, or any of our social media pages. Stay safe. Take care. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.